If you have prediabetes or type 2 diabetes, or if you just want to avoid those conditions, today's episode is for you. I've got 7 evidence-based tips to reduce blood sugar spikes after a meal. Be sure to watch till the end because I saved my favorite tip for last. When you apply the simple solutions from this video, you'll see fewer and smaller blood sugar spikes. Tip number 1, reduce the net carbohydrates in your meal. Remember, there are 3 major types of carbs: starches, sugars, and fibers. Net carbs are the total carbs in a food minus the fiber, so essentially the starches and sugars. These are the types of carbs that spike your blood sugar, not fiber. Blood sugar spikes are always going to be higher when you eat sugar or starch with your meal. That's because the sugar in those carbs are quickly broken down and released into the bloodstream, causing a glucose spike. The more glucose you eat from carbs, the more your blood glucose will spike. Eating a lower carbohydrate diet is one of the best ways to prevent or reverse type 2 diabetes. Tip number 2, if you do have carbs with your meal, eat them last, after your fiber, protein, and fat. In other words, the exact opposite of what normally happens at a Mexican or Italian restaurant. Try to skip the chips and bread, but if you are going to have them at the end of the meal so that the other food in your stomach can slow their digestion and absorption. Tip number 3, incorporate fiber-rich foods. But I want you to carefully select these foods. The low-sugar fruits and non-starchy vegetables that are high in fiber are your best bet. A few examples are raspberries, blackberries, strawberries, avocado, broccoli, and asparagus. You can click the link in the description of this video to download our free Ultimate Food Guide. This has more education on macronutrients and tables of over 80 foods that are good for blood sugars. Research consistently shows that fiber can slow the absorption of sugar and reduce post-meal glucose spikes. Remember, if you're choosing a food like oats, beans, and apples that have a lot more starch and sugar than fiber, the fiber simply won't be as effective because there's more sugar load to control in the first place. So get that food guide so that you can see the tables of these low sugar fruits and non-starchy vegetables. Tip number 4, get 30 to 50 grams of protein per meal. The first question people always ask after I say that is, well, what does that actually look like? It's about 5 ounces of cooked meat, such as steak, chicken, pork, or seafood. 5 eggs, for example, has about 30 grams of protein. You could also estimate this portion by using your hand. Aim for as much protein cut up as the size of your hand. So like if you have your steak or chicken cut up on your plate, it should be about the size of your hand. This amount of protein is far less than what the average person is eating. And that's one of the reasons why the average person is overweight and insulin resistant. We need protein to support our muscle and bone health. Eating protein with each meal not only helps stabilize blood sugar, but also keeps you fuller for longer, reducing overeating. So eat a good amount of protein at every meal for better blood sugar management. Again, inside our Ultimate Food Guide, we have these tables for the best sources of protein from both animal and plant sources. That guide has charts that show the portion sizes needed to get the 30-gram minimum. Tip number 5, stay hydrated. Proper hydration is essential for maintaining optimal blood sugar levels. Research does show that dehydration can impair glucose metabolism and increase blood sugar levels. Drinking water helps maintain healthy digestion and can prevent unnecessary spikes. Aim for at least half your body weight in ounces of water a day, although you could be like me and blow that number out of the park. And remember that staying hydrated is a simple but effective way to support blood sugar management. Tip number 6, monitor portion sizes. Overeating can lead to elevated blood sugar levels, even if you're overeating healthy food. By eating smaller, balanced portions, you help your body regulate blood sugar more effectively. Eating slowly, not going back for seconds, not eating while you're cooking or cleaning up, and not finishing your kids' food will all make a difference. I also find that tracking macros on an app like Carb Manager can be really helpful because honestly, as a culture, we've become desensitized to what an appropriate portion size is anymore. So even if you just track for a few days, you're going to gain insight on how much food you're actually eating. We have free macro setup videos that you can watch when you go to ziply.com/macros, and we've left a link to that in the description as well. Tip number 7, walk after your meals. Physical activity after meals can significantly lower blood sugar levels. Even a 10-minute walk after eating can improve your insulin sensitivity and glucose uptake. When you walk, your muscles act like a sponge to soak up that glucose after a meal. One day after a higher carb meal, my glucose was in the 130s, and after just a 20-minute walk, it was back down in the 90s. So it works, and it works fast. Speaking of higher carb meals, I want to share a quick bonus tip with you that I always do around the holidays. If I know I'm going to have more carbs in a meal, I take 1 to 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar before the meal. I dilute this in water and drink it through a straw while I plug my nose to make it more bearable. There you have it, 7 evidence-based tips and a bonus tip to help you lower your blood sugars after a meal. If you've tried one or more of these or have more ideas to share, leave a comment below. Incorporating these strategies into your daily routine can make a significant difference in managing your blood sugar levels. If you found this information helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more evidence-based health tips. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.